श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। Today we will learn mantra number 16. See, we are सन्यासी। एक सन्यासी के लिए पूरा जगत पहले ही मर चुका है, और जगत के लिए एक सन्यासी भी पहले ही मर चुका है। फिर भी अपना हृदय को कैसे विसर्जन दो? प्रेम, लव इज द बेसिस ऑफ सन्यासी। सन्यासी का अंदर अगर प्रेम नहीं रहेगा तो ये सन्यास व्रत का अर्थ कुछ नहीं। A sannyas is heart always will cry for the others. Always. Feel yourself as sannyasi. Sannyasi doesn't depend on the robe. Our last Swami used to walk with t-shirt and track pant. But he was a Pakka Swami. Be a Swami in household clothes. Our Prarthana Prakaran is going on. Mantra number 16. Ushanye karshe yama surya prajapatya. Ushanye karshe yama surya prajapatya. Vyuha rasmin samuha tejo. Yatte rupam kalyantamam tatte pashyami yosavasau purusassohamasmi. Together. Ushanye karshe yamasurya prajapatya. Vyuho rasmin samuha tejo yatte rupam kalyantamam tatte pashyami yosavasau purusassohamasmi. Anvaya, we see Pushan, हे Pushan, हे Ekarshe. Wonderful. Tomorrow or today, if I get time, little bit grammatical discussion we will do. It's wonderful. You will be amazed. He Pushan, he Ekarshe, he Yama, he Surya, he Prajapatya. व्यूह दूर करो। क्या दूर करेगा? रश्मीन, अपना रश्मि समूह। तेज समूह संवरण करो। ते तवते तुम्हारा। यत कल्याणतमं रूपम, हे सूर्य, हे प्रजापत्य, तुम्हारा जो कल्याणकारी रूप है, तत्ते पश्यामि, तुम्हारा ही कृपा में मैं देखूंगा। यह असौ Purusaha asau saha ahamasmi. In Bhagavad Gita, Ekadash Adhyaya mein, in 11th chapter, Arjuna did the prayer to Bhagavan Sri Krishna like same. That, oh Krishna, please restrain your all-pervading things and appear in front of me as my Sakha. Here in Upanishad also, we are seeing the same thing. Pushan, O Pushan, Pushankari, Narishar, Ekarshe, O soul seer, Yama, He Yama, O controller, Surya, O sun god, Prajapatya, O son of Prajapati, Yuha, disperse, Rashmin, rays, Samuha, gather up, Tejaha, light, effulgent light, Yat, what, Te, your, Rupam, form, Kalyanatamam, most auspicious, Tat, that, Te, your, Pashyami, I see, Yaha, who, Asau, this, again Asau is there, means this, Purushaha. Here Purushaha means Chaitanya, embedded Samasti or Vyasti also. Saha, he, aham, I, asmi, am. So, O Pushan, O sun, O nourisher, O soul seer, O controller of all, O sun god, O son of Prajapati, disperse your rays and gather up your burning light. I behold your glorious form. The Purusha within you, he am I. There is one book called The Surmount of Jesus Christ. Jishu Krishna ka Shailopadesh. There at the end, Jesus Christ is telling, me and my Father is one. If you ever get a chance, please go through this book. And you will see the actual original teachings of Jesus Christ. And that is nothing but Vedanta. When he came back from the mountain after 40 days exile, he preached his disciples. They were all fishermen. And it was nothing but Vedanta, Surmount of Jesus Christ. In Hindi it is, in Bengali also it is available. Krishter Shailopadesh. So the very epithets of glory used here by the sages or rishis in addressing the Lord Son are significant inasmuch as they declare to us to whom exactly is the dying ego addressing. The philosophical import of the prayer is brought into greater relief by the unsaid suggestiveness that is implied in the various qualifications which are added to Lord Son. They apply equally to the Atma, which is nourisher and soul seer. If you can remember mantra number 8, mantra number 8 we will see, if you can remember, it's wonderful that saparyagat shukramakayamavranam anasnaviragam shuddhamapapavidhyam kavir manishi paribhu swayambhu yatha tathyatorthan vyadadhat shashvatibhya samabhyah. There in manishi shabda was used as omniscient. I am that Purusha. That omniscient, if the self be thus the knowing principle in the individual, then it being the same life principle in all living beings. Clear? Again, I'm telling, if the self be thus the knowing principle in the individual, then it being the same life principle in all living beings is also the one knowing principle in all beings. Thus, the self is considered as omniscient, all-knowing. Every little bit of knowledge that is gained in the world and every one of its transactions are but known by the same self, and hence the self in us as the one consciousness is the eternal knower in all bosoms. So here, if we see, if we apply the same thing, that soul nourisher or soul seer, ekarshe, the same thing. The controller of all, yama, and so on, are all amply self-evident in that they apply equally to the spiritual center in man. And according to the prayer, the prayerful ego, the completely integrated inner personality of the individual at meditation. When the mind and intellect are transcended, meets truth in his subjective experience. Also, it is to be noted that sun god, Surya Bhagavan, was the guru of sage Yajnavalkya. Who was Yajnavalkya? Yajnavalkya was the compiler of the Shukla Yajurveda Samhita, and Ishavasya Upanishad belongs to it. The Samhita itself was taught to him by Lord Sun alone. The sun is the greatest nourisher, disinfector, the great filler who fills life with flavor. Just think, without sun, we say that water is life. Is it true? Water is life because of sun. In the water where sunlight is not there, think about the water. Is that water is the symbol of life? No, it's rotten. The water is fresh because of sun. So sun is the ultimate disinfector, ultimate life. By your grace, may I reach nearer the Isha who indwells everywhere, including you. Seems to be here the cry of the heart at meditation. The idea that the spirit is not to be seen or felt or understood, but is to be experienced in an intimate subjective experience, which is called anubhava, is clearly brought out by the declaration, He am I. Soham. When a sadhaka starts his sadhana, the very question of a sadhaka is, Ko aham? Who am I? And the ultimate anubhava, ultimate experience, realization, feeling is, He am I. The Purusha within you. This is not a declaration made by the self-realized saint at the moment of his realization. But later on, when he wakes up again to the world of the mind and intellect, he cries that he is not a body conditioned individual that he thought he was in his ignorance. But now that the wisdom has dawned, he realizes that he is nothing but the pure awareness, the one that resides in him, the Purusha. In Vachanamrit, when Sri Ramakrishna used to come out from the samadhi or ecstasy, deep meditation, when he used to become normal by drinking a little bit of water, and he used to tell, the wax tree wax bird, wax human beings, मोम का पेड़, मोम का पंछी, मोम का आकाश, मोम का पानी. मतलब the equanimity in all. This is the experience even after getting up from the deep meditation. So before this final experience of oneness, he am I or Soham, we have been shown how there is a lower state of realization that I behold your glorious form, wherein the ego still remains experiencing a divine exaltation. This state is called Savikalpaka Samadhi. This precedes the final stage of the total end of the ego, when the seeker rediscovers himself to be the Sout, the Supreme Self. And this stage of experience of oneness is called the Nirvikalpaka Samadhi. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Brahma Veda, Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Is an oft repeated declaration of the Upanishads, the truth of which is repeatedly stated in all the Upanishads. Man cannot see God, but God is not an experientiable non-existence. Godhood is a positive state which can be lived and experienced, but unfortunately not by man, but by God alone. Sri Ramakrishna's mother she appeared as a very normal lady. But you know, she was supernatural inside. And the pure thing, you know, one, Sri Ramakrishna's family had a lot of land. But on that time, you know, Jamindari rules and regulations were there. And Sri Ramakrishna's father was the person of truth. So when one case was filed and the British judge clearly told that I'm confused what the exact thing is, but if Kshudiram Chatterjee, the father of Sri Ramakrishna, tells the thing, I will accept it as truth. It was his reputation. But, you know, Jamindar told Kshudiram, you have to tell a lie. Otherwise, you have to leave this village. Kshudiram did not tell any lie. And later he lived like a poor Brahmin. But when Sri Ramakrishna's mother asked him that why, what is the matter, why we are leaving this village? Now Jamindar has told me to tell a lie in the court. Do you know what was the question of Sri Ramakrishna's mother? What is lie? she did not have any idea what is lie. That mother produces a Sri Ramakrishna. We always blame our children. We never judge who we are. So that sort of lady used to see, visualize gods and goddesses every time, because his mental plane used to remain in that state where gods and goddesses used to roam. And she was a very simple lady. One day, she did not have any, because she was not learned. She visualized one god is traveling by a swan, and his face was very red. And you know what she told? O Lalmukho Bhagavan, তোমার তো দেখছি রোদে মুখ পুড়ে গেছে, তুমি বরং দুটো পান্তা ভাত খেয়ে যাও। Oh, red-faced God, your face has been burnt in scorching sunlight. Please have some water-soaked rice. So see, Gurudev also mentioned this, you know, same thing. That this sort of visualization is possible only if we uplift our mind in that state. It is because the man who realizes godhood is no more a man, but is a god upon earth, walking temporarily in the form of that man. Where the ego ends, there is a blaze of perfection. The divine reincarnates. I am the Purusha in you. Purushaha ahamasmi. Earlier in third mantra, it was said that those who identify with their body-mind vehicles are destroyers of the self. Atmahanaha. Can you remember the third mantra? Just because of you, I just want to facilitate you. I don't know when you will open again your book. So it's my privilege to tell you. Asurya namate loka andhena tamasavritaha tamste pratyabhigachanti yeke chatmahano janaha. It was the third mantra. So, ever bound to the wheel of change. Atmahana means the body-mind vehicles are always bound to the wheel of change. When such an individual, through dedicated activities or karma, purifies himself and through renunciation, tena tyaktena bhunjitaha. We got it. Tena tyaktena. Through renunciation, comes to enjoy all this is the Lord. Ishavasyam idagum sarva. He must necessarily cry out that I am no more the one who destroyed the experience of the self, Atmahanaha, and lived in blinding darkness, Andhan Tamaha, in a sunless realm, Asurya namate lokaha. But I am indeed he, the self, Purushaha ahamasmi. So the wave that has realized itself, understands and experiences the ocean, the ghost that has rediscovered its reality becomes the post, because we see ghosts on the post. Man experiencing Godhood is himself the immortal God. Just for the purpose of elucidation and to re-emphasize the most important point here, we must, through repetition, again draw the reader's attention to a subtle truth underlying the very arrangement of thoughts here. First, the meditator cries out, I am seeing his auspicious nature. And thus, he hushes himself into the silence of joy, thundering, He am I, so aham, so aham, so aham. In the earlier exclamation, the ego lingers, and therefore it sees the experience divine. But when the ego has ended, the roars is not I am he, for there must be then the lingering I, but it is he am I. When the ego has ended, the experience is that universal reality, Brahman am I. Sri Madhavacharya ji interprets aham as na heya, means not to be despised or discarded. And asmi as the ever-existing God in all creatures. He also sees in asavasu, meaning the Purusha, asau, with the prana. In asau, in prana. Prana is a symbol for God. The struggle is evidently to avoid the implication of Advaita, so eloquent in the identity between Asau, the universe, universal, the transcendental Purusha, the Brahman, and Aham, the confused and confounded ego's essential nature as Atma. Their philosophy is different and complicated and confusing. So this is the end portion of the sadhana. I am that. This is the realization of that Guru Vakya, Tattvamasi, when Guru says and student realizes that I am that Brahman. Hari Om Tat Sat.